Meat, hard to believe it's already your 2.5 or 3 or however you want to call it, but since you've taken over, where are you the proudest of where the program's grown?
I think the way the guys go about their business in the community and in the classroom. Sure, we want to succeed on the field, but we want our guys to be successful in life, and we've done a lot in regards to life skills and doing everything we can to send them out when their time's up here at Florida State and be good products to society.
You know, joking about it off the top, 2.5 or 3, whatever you want to say, but knock on wood, we've got plenty of it around us. Are you excited to finally have a full season with a full Hauser and get that full experience of Florida State baseball back?
Absolutely. I've tried to, the older guys that have been around, have always talked about the Hauser mystique, and you only get that when you have the big crowds and everybody's into it. And some of these guys have never experienced it, and it's definitely a home field advantage, and I think it's good for everybody.
You mentioned it, a lot of new guys, a lot of new faces. You didn't shy away from it when practice first started. Depth is something that you're very, very proud of on this team. Kind of feel like you finally have those numbers, but you've been at Florida State for a while. Depth-wise, is this one of the deepest rosters that you've seen here?
It is, because the guys getting another year of eligibility and the whole trickle-down effect of that. So, yes, we are. We do have depth, and but that quality of depth, I think, yes, this is the best we've had. We got guys that can bounce around, do different things, play different positions, and you got to have that. With COVID still out there and with injuries, and there's a lot of things that signs point to the teams that have the depth are the ones that are going to win. But there's a lot of great teams that have the depth, so we got to fine-tune some things and play great, solid baseball.
That being said, how much easier is it when your head hits the pillow knowing that you're not just 1 second away from having no options at position X, Y, or Z?
Yeah, you think about last year, we had pitchers doing a lot of stuff offensively for us for a while there till we kind of got our bearings going, and that's not going to be the case this year. And it is a lot easier to sleep knowing that you don't have to have guys wrapped in bubble wrap and just constantly worried about getting guys hurt.
The world of transfers isn't quite as new to college baseball as it is to some of these other sports that are now dealing with the realities of the portal. But, I mean, you take a look at this roster. You see Alex Terrell, you see Jordan Carrion, you see Joe Charles and Brock Mathis. These are guys that have played at a P5 level. A lot of these guys have played against you. You talked a good bit about the maturity of this squad, the fact that this is a been there, done that team, even if it isn't necessarily in garnet and gold. Just how beneficial is that for you as a coach and a manager?
Well, they know what to expect. The crowds and stuff doesn't, their emotions don't get too high or too low. We've got to have that even keel. And older guys bring that presence of calmness to your club. And, you're always worried about, how's the continuity and the way they go about their business and their personalities, and, are they stubborn, or, all of the guys that we brought in have been just absolutely fantastic. I've had some of the older guys that have been in our program for 3-4 years say this is the best clubhouse they've ever been in, and that's encouraging.
There's a lot that's been made about your defensive depth. There's a lot that's been made about your pitching staff. I know 1 through 2's probably settled, and everything else after that can be a bit of a question mark. As far as those arms, how is that going along?
Yeah, it's going well. They're feeding off each other. They love to compete. Trying to outdo each other is a good thing. And, it's hard on our hitters, but it's going to be really beneficial for our hitters. You combine that with the shadows that happen this time of the year. We just got to keep them, on an upward trajectory, and I think we'll be fine.
Pitching, defense, but batting-wise, you're going to replace a huge, huge bat in Matt Nelson. You've got to replace a ton of production there. Obviously, it was an up-and-down season last year at the plate. You guys got better as it went along, but what are your expectations for this team as a hitting squad, and especially as a guy who coaches hitting?
We obviously got to cut down the strikeouts. Strikeouts are becoming prevalent everywhere. But we've got to do a better job. And this group is bought in, utilizing the backside of the field, going the other way, putting together competitive, tough at-bats. And that's what we want to do. Our motto is we want to have a team, an offense that can't be shifted, meaning the defensive alignment. We want to be able to utilize the whole field and bunt and run and do some things. And, I think we'll be there.
You mentioned it, strikeouts are up, and of course that's been a problem in the majors for a while. Is that a problem that you see bleeding from the pro game down, or is that something that's just kind of permeated baseball?
Yeah, anything that they see over and over and over, that's what, and it's okay. You know, they think it just eventually works its way down to the lower levels, and you know, they've got to take pride in their at-bats and not just think that, you know, they just pay for home runs. You know, you see the Tampa Bay Rays and you see teams that are doing it the right way, so to speak, and they're starting to pay for that, the on-base percentage and putting together at-bats. Sure, power's great, but it can't be the end-all be-all at the expense of, you know, high strikeout totals.
You know, speaking of the majors, there's obviously a labor dispute going on up there. There might be some eyes on college baseball that aren't typically on college baseball. Do you see this as a big opportunity for the sport and to grow this level?
I do. I'm on a group text with some buddies of mine that are in coaching, and we really think that there is going to be an uptick in viewership of our game, and that's a good thing, you know, because again, everybody's got more players, better players, it's a better product. You know, this is a time for us to take advantage of it. We just got to figure out a way to speed the game up.
If you had to sell somebody on the college version of the game, what stands out the most to you?
Passion. You know, the genuine passion these guys are playing with, and when you realize they're on small scholarships and they're still playing with this kind of passion every single day, you know, it's like I tell people, when you see playoff baseball in the major leagues, that's what we do every single game. You know, it matters, and the emotion is there, and you know, it's a good product.
You know, you mentioned it, small scholarships. Of course, there's always still the third assistant debate that rages on. With so many eyes maybe coming to college baseball, do you kind of feel like the game's at a crossroads?
I hope so, because it needs to change. It's not fair. It's always been that way, is what we always keep hearing, and you know, it's time for things to get right and give us what we need for the student athletes to you know, provide for them. And the fact that they're cutting back minor leagues, you know, it's kind of trending towards us being the minor leagues for, you know, the pro team. So, you know, with that comes responsibility, which you got to have money and you got to be able to, you know, drum up support for it.
Overall, Meat, I know last year, postseason, the bracket comes out, you were really critical of the committee, and so were a lot of other people. RPI kind of seemed to be the metric when it was kind of promised not to be. And at least from a perspective of sitting here, it kind of feels like the ACC got the raw end of the deal. Overall, just how do you feel knowing that the ACC seems to be getting that preseason recognition? I mean, if you just take a look at Hauser's home schedule, it looks like this is as tough as it's gotten in a long time.
Yeah, it's a good schedule. And, you know, last year we played 36 conference games. You know, they cut 6 of our games. You know, that in itself was the biggest bonehead move ever. And so that's why we ended up, in the end, when they said they weren't going to go to RPI, but they really, there's no other way of doing it, they did go by the RPI. So, yes, I did think the ACC got the short end of the stick, and you know, it's good to know that it's not going to happen again.
Overall, where do you kind of see the perception, or at least when you take a look, scouting, looking at rosters, where do you see the league right now?
We're right up there. You know, it's hard to say until you really get into it and you see what, you know, the TCUs are about and how they're doing in their league, and what you think of their club when they get to you. And you know, Cal's another team that we'll be following closely, but we're trying to get that RPI from all over the country, and you know, I think a lot of people are starting to do that. And if you can get them at home, then, you know, we do home on homes. But you know, it's great for our fans. They don't want to see, you know, Johnny Rumdub University come in here. They don't deserve that.
Overall, you know, you talked about the experience, you talked about the maturity of this team. How good is that to have for a schedule like this, and with the expectations that have been placed on you guys by the coaches?
Oh yeah, it's if you got to bring it every single day, and that's what we're getting through to these guys. You know, that passion, that playoff baseball, and the tradition of the program. You're going to get everybody's best shot. You know, they want to say we beat Florida State. You know, it's a bit. You look at crowds all over in record books of colleges all over. We're the top of a bunch of people, and you know, that's because of the guys that came through this program before and built it, and the coaches that, you know, put in all the hard work. And we just got to be ready to match that intensity and focus.
Big picture here, new sheriff in town at the Moore Athletic Center. I know the baseball arms race, we've all seen what it's looked like over the last couple of years. How have your discussions been with A.D. Alford, and just have you guys discussed any improvements or what you guys need for the program?
Yes, he's a baseball guy. He played baseball in college, and he's very knowledgeable, and he comes by frequently, and you know, wants to talk about this and that, and what do you think about this and that, and you know, he's got a lot of really good ideas, and you know, we know where we're at. You know, the football only facility's got to get done first, and you know, but a little bit, you know, the new padding and the you know, a lot of stuff here in the tradition room has been redone, and you know, we got ourselves a former players' locker room, which I've always wanted for the, you know, the pro guys to come back and have their own little locker room, and they can hang out in there. And so we got a lot of grand ideas. Just give me $1 million, all right?
Meet, wanted to ask, you know, with a program as stable as Florida State and with the consistency that you guys have, what's next isn't necessarily a question that gets thrown out a lot, but as you enter the third year, where do you want to see the program grow the most?
I mean, I want to see it be the best. I want to see it to be the absolute best in the country. And, you know, with what we're trying to do and what we're trying to get through, of course we want the guys successful in life, but we want to be the best program as well. And, you know, the way they go about their business daily is crucial to that. And, you know, getting to Omaha and winning the whole thing. That's the goal. It's always been the goal, and that'll never change. And if it does, you know, this program will go down quick.
Finally, got to ask, I was here Sunday, saw a little bit of practice, saw 11 out there. Wanted to see how are Coach Martin and Carroll doing?
Yeah, they're doing good. Everybody's good. You know, his golf game, one day he's going out for the Super Senior Tour, and the next day he's quitting. And, you know, and then he's asking Mom's calling me, please get him out to practice. He's driving me crazy. And, the weather's cold, he can't play his golf. And so he wants to move furniture and ask why certain pictures or certain places. So, but all in all, they're doing great.
Meet, great to be able to do this in person again. Can't wait for opening day.
Absolutely. Enjoyed it.
Thank you.